Hey guys, happy Wednesday. How are you all doing? We have a crowd already. Welcome, welcome. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ale Zozos. I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and today we're going to be talking about summer snacks, summer in general, seasonal produce, and how to get over that midday slump, the tiredness, the energy crash, maybe some other things going on there. But we're going to group all that together. We have a really great topic lined up for you all. This is definitely different from some of the other past topics we've done on fueling regimens and macronutrients because it's really, I think it's a missed opportunity for us to understand about seasonal eating, especially in the summer when some of these foods are just the produce, fruits and vegetables are so delicious. So we're going to tie that in with snacks. It's going to be a really good opportunity to understand how to build a snack. I think what are your snacks or how do I do snacks is probably the most common question I'm asked as a dietitian. So I'm wondering if that's the same for all of you guys watching today. As always, let's get to meet each other a little bit more. If you want to put your name and where you're from in the chat box, I have our other dietitian on tech today. Kayla is here, so she'll be able to answer some questions that come in. But without further ado, let's dive in. As always, we'll save about 5 minutes at the end to review how to use EatLove for today's topic. So how can you find snacks that are in season? There's a way to do that. And how can you revisit your nutrition plan to make sure that you're getting enough energy, protein, and fiber? So remember those three things, as well as fluid. They will come back in later on today. Welcome, Kathy. All right, so I'm going to turn on... Hi, Carolyn. Summer snacks. All right, so summer snacks to stay energized all summer long. Lots of underlying themes here. They're all going to tie together. So first and foremost, how many of you are at home this summer? The kids have just gotten out of school and you're wondering how to combat dehydration, get a lot of good nutrients in that fit for you and the family. Even if you don't have kids, does it fit for you? How are you going to beat the heat this summer? So lots of good things to go over today. As we learned, my name is Ale Zozos. I'm meeting all of you right now in the chat channel. David, welcome. Thelma, Adam. Lots more Texas I've seen recently. I'm also in Austin myself, and my lovely colleague Kayla is coming home. Actually, she's coming home back to Houston. So amazing. Welcome. Our topic of the day, we know Facebook group. If you guys are not in our Facebook group yet, when we get to that slide, I'm going to pause while you can all take a screenshot of the QR code to directly hop into our continued chat over on Facebook, where we do a live Q&A every couple weeks on topics that are relevant. It can be a summer topic. It can be questions that we get over the course of a couple weeks. So we'll jump over there. And then, of course, our Eat Love demo. But when I talk about seasonal eating, I want to get a show of hands. I'm actually just going to do a poll for this one because I wanted to get this down. How many of you eat seasonally? Yes, no, I'm not sure. Let's do this poll. How many of you eat seasonally? It's kind of like a nuanced thing. What does it really mean? How do we know if we're eating in season? So in season provides a lot of benefits. It provides richer flavors to some of the wonderful options that you see here. There's some more on the next page. Provides better nutrition just by the way it's grown. It needs the sun to get those nutrients and fully develop. That's where we're also going to get that richer flavor. It's usually in a surplus, so it's cost efficient. If you ever tried to buy a tomato in the middle of winter, the resources aren't really available. It could be a lot more expensive than if you were to buy it when it's actually in season. Not to mention, doesn't taste that great. I would always buy cherry tomatoes. I probably buy cherry tomatoes every week. Doesn't really matter where I live in the country, but I just distinctively remember this cherry tomato when I was in New York, which is not like Texas climate. So even if it's the middle of winter, I can get a pretty good tomato in Texas. But it just was like something was off. It did not taste good. And I'm like, you know what? There's something to this seasonal eating. Absolutely. It's environmentally friendly. It can support the community if you're doing like a local CSA. You're getting a lot of really good options. And it looks like we're about half and half. So 10 of you are eating seasonally. That's fantastic. And then the rest are either unsure of or no. So after today, you may actually realize that you're eating more in season than you think, because we just have that that thought on what is actually seasonal eating. How do we know? So a lot of the recipes in the summer and summers stick out because there's a lot of family time and picnics and barbecues, and a lot of the foods and dishes that we know and love are using seasonal ingredients. Looking at this corn, for example, grilled corn, one of the best foods on the planet. I will stand by it. Seasoned with like brushed with butter or olive oil, and then some cheese on top. You can't go wrong with in season sweet corn. It's absolutely phenomenal. Cantaloupe, honeydew, that's going to be in season. Tomatoes, cucumbers also. This is definitely not an all-inclusive list for seasonal options. On the next page, we have berries, cherries, two of my favorite. Berries, I eat them all year round. Even if they're not fresh, I will do the frozen. I talk about that all the time for cost savings and whatnot. Summer squashes, the yellow ones and the green. Zucchini is going to be the green ones. Lovely summer options. Watermelon, of course. Watermelon is definitely a seasonal fruit. Grapes as well. There's different types of grapes, lots of different colors. And then stone fruits. We have peaches, apricots, that sort of thing that are going to be really great in season. So the premise of today is to review not only the seasonal eating, but to understand how we can make really nice snacks. Not even just snacks, but when I show you the recipe search with EatLove, I'm going to show you some really cool things on just breakfast, lunches, and dinners. How can you get more of the seasonal produce into your day-to-day? So you're going to get better nutrition. You're going to have lots of vitamins and minerals. These colors, you can see every single one of these has a bright, vibrant color. That means vitamins and minerals are present. Also fiber. Fruit and vegetables are carbohydrates, but they also provide a lot of good fiber content that keeps bowels regular, that lowers our cholesterol, that keeps our blood sugars at balance. So again, at the end of the day, my message as a dietitian is always, we can get more fruits and vegetables in our diet, and we can build some really bomb snacks around that to make sure that we get the whole picture. Because if we're looking at snacks in general, 60 calorie piece of 60 calorie piece of fruit, 60 calorie peach, for example, is not a lot of calories. It's not going to keep us full for very long. 60 calories. When we're looking at snacks, I think 150 minimum should be the baseline for snacks. Snacks can get up to 300 calories depending on when your next meal is. But if we're skimping on snacks and we're not building them a way that's going to keep us fuller and satiated longer, we have a huge opportunity to miss, and it could definitely be affecting with our energy levels. So now we're going to talk about how to build your best snack. We talked about fruits and vegetables are a carb, but they also provide fiber, and that color is a surefire way that you are getting vitamins and minerals in your day-to-day. But to make a well-balanced snack, you need more than just that carb and that fiber. If you're on the go and that's all you have access to, that is fine. But if you want something that's going to keep you satiated for hours and not 30 minutes, you're going to want to build that protein and that fat component with it. So on the right-hand side here, I have some options that you could pair with these, and I have some very specific options on the next slide. But as we start at the bottom down here, you'll see we have fat, and then we lead into fat and protein, and then we lead into more protein-heavy options. But all of these are good. Some of the foods double as both. So we have dark chocolate. Always got to have it in the mix. Really good source of magnesium. Avocados, pure fat. They have a lot of potassium, actually more potassium than a banana. Extra virgin olive oil, can't forget it when it comes to anti-inflammatory and just nutrient-dense options. Every single one of these, maybe besides these crackers that I have up here, but I'll get to those in a minute, are going to be super nutrient-dense. And that just means that they have a decent amount of calories, but that's a good thing because they're going to keep you fuller longer. They're going to provide a lot of other things, and they're going to keep you in a way that's going to be energized throughout the day. The next line up, we have nuts and seeds. This is a hummus, but really could be insert any bean dip there. It's going to provide the same thing, fat and protein. Nut butter, same thing, fat and protein. Yogurt, depending on the fat content of it, could be full fat, could be low fat, could be no fat. Just keep an eye on those because usually low fat products by nature have more carbohydrates, especially if it's a flavored item. I would just take a peek at that. Not a bad thing, but that's how marketing and, consumer confusion creates confusion when we're trying to create these well-balanced snacks. Cheese, protein and fat, primarily a fat though. Then at the very top, we have a hard-boiled egg. We have 7 grams of protein per egg and I believe 5 grams of fat. So primarily a fat, but a good bit of, or primarily a protein, but has a good bit of fat as well. Then we have our jerky. Can be turkey, could be beef, whatever. Turkey or jerky is going to be a really good source of protein that can pair really well with fruits and vegetables. We can't talk snack time without crackers, so I threw those in here. as an example of this doesn't mean you can't have crackers or chips or anything with your snack, but if you are having things like that, how do we build a really solid, well-balanced, hydrating, because fruit and vegetables have fluids and water in them, hydrating, seasonal, energizing snack? So let's talk about some specific options on the next page here. And I believe Kayla posted a question on what's your favorite in-season fruit or vegetable? So just of the ones we talked about, or one that's not on the list, fair game as well. And no time to make it in a bowl, throw it in a blender. I am a huge fan of summer smoothies. Smoothies really any time of the year, using whatever fruit we have access to. So if we're looking at this in real time and we want to be able to pair some of the seasonal options with some of those proteins and fats and make it a really nourishing, dense option, and this is a good time to check your snacks. Are you eating whole foods for snacks? Are you relying on more processed things? Like I said, it's okay, but how can we balance it out? Because the processed snacks are pretty much, they're carb heavy, and that's okay again. But if they're just carb heavy and they're lacking protein and they're lacking fiber and they're lacking fat, they don't keep you full for very long. They're going to spike your blood sugar. They're going to give you that immediate boost, but it's going to crash. And that could be a reason why you're feeling tired or having less energy, is because you don't have the balance of the right nutrients. So let's start at the 2 o'clock hand over here. We have the tomatoes, mozzarella balls, extra virgin olive oil. I tried to use as minimal ingredients as possible. You could really trick these out if you wanted to add basil and balsamic vinegar and make it absolutely perfection. But if we're just looking at like 3 things, we want to get a good balance of fats and carbs and protein. This is a solid summer option. The next one is going to be zucchini slices, or really any vegetable slice. It can be summer squash. It can pretty much be anything with your hummus or other bean dip is going to be great. Hummus itself is going to have fat in it. You usually have a extra virgin olive oil in there to create that snack. And beans, protein and fat, or protein and carb as well. The bottom one, imagine this is a guacamole with corn in it, and these are either tortilla chips or any other type of cracker that you want to include in that. This one is probably a little bit lighter on the protein unless you're doing like a whole grain cracker. I'm a huge fan of Mary's Gone crackers. If you like the umami flavor, it's like savory, but it's more than just savory. I don't really know how to explain it. It's umami. So very, very delicious. I would absolutely love that combination. Kind of just very, very good. The next one is a cantaloupe honeydew. Threw a hard-boiled egg in that. On the last webinar, I had someone say prosciutto and melon. Absolute fire combo. Again, balsamic vinegar would really round that out if we're getting like into the specifics of it, but a good balance of protein and fat. And of course, the honeydews or the melons are going to be your carbohydrate, but they're going to provide fiber as well. On the bottom left-hand side, we have berries and yogurt, and can't forget about our dark chocolate chips. This is another fire combination. Dairy, in my opinion, will always be a superfood because it provides everything, protein, fat, and carb, especially if it's more of like a whole milk or full fat product. And that's perfectly okay. We got some chocolate chips. We got some berries. That deep dark color here, those blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, is an anthocyanin, and it's a very powerful antioxidant. So again, those colors, that makes it real that these nutrients are present in your diet on a day-to-day. Going up, we have nut butter. Can be really whatever nut butter you want: almonds, peanuts, sunflower seeds. Absolutely love them all. And peaches, sounds like a weird combination, but they're usually, these stone fruits are super juicy, and they can be a little bit sweet or sour depending on whenever they're picked from ripeness. And the butter is going to be a little bit more muted. So I feel like these two go really well together. And at the very top, it's like your own personal summer charcuterie board. You have jerky, you have nuts and seeds, you have grapes. So it hits everything: protein, fat, and carb. Just as we build our plates, our snacks should resemble the same thing. So let's move on to this energy boosting slide. We'll have lots of time to review some questions today. So when we're looking at energy levels, question for everyone, and I'm not going to put it in a poll, but I do have just a general question on energy. Do you feel like you have a set time to crash every day? I think we all have like our preset time of like, oh, post lunch, or you miss lunch and you're starting to get a little bit sleepy. That time for me is usually 2:33. If something happens with lunch, either I don't get it or I have it very late. Sometimes I get it at 4 p.m., which is not my most ideal time that I get that energy crash. Marianne, 3 p.m. Yep, we're one and the same. It's like clockwork. It happens. Usually there's a couple of things that could be going on there. One, we could probably just not have gotten enough sleep the night before, or we could be working too hard. We always are working too hard. But some of the time when we see that energy crash is because we're under fueling up until that point of the day. This is probably the biggest mistake I see with a lot of clients when they are looking to eat more well-rounded and balanced diets. They're just not getting enough of energy up until 3. It's almost like an unwritten rule in diet culture where if you ate as little as possible up until dinner, then you're fine. But then what happens after that? You overeat. You eat desserts that you didn't plan on. You eat a lot of things that weren't planned on, and you suffered all the way up until dinner to get to that point when you could have just been eating more balanced, having more balanced snacks, and you'd be able to be more in control of those choices at dinner and be able to feel full and satiated throughout the evening. So getting the appropriate amount of calories first and foremost, because calories are your energy. You have to get enough of them. Hitting targets on protein and fiber. We'll see that in the nutrition plan in EatLove if you guys have access to that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too. Creating those balanced snacks we just talked about. This is what a balanced snack looks like. And if you're wondering how to build it on your own within other seasons, fall, winter, spring, same thing, protein, fat, and carb. Is it present in your snack? If it's a bag of chips or it's just a sleeve of crackers or something, it's probably going to be super carb heavy. And you're not going to be getting the nutrients that you need that make it a well-balanced snack that's energizing and hydrating to beat that heat this summer. So we just point to those and say, okay, just using this one, we have, okay, here's our carb. It's a tomato. It's obviously not super high in carbs, but it's still a carbohydrate. It gives me fiber. I have protein. I have fat. I'm good. This is a balanced snack. Looking at your sleep schedule is a huge one. Do you have a routine? Do you go to bed each night at the same time every night, approximately? Do you wake up approximately the same time the same morning? Or when you go to bed, is it just a gamble that you're going to wake up feeling refreshed? That is a way to burn yourself out energy-wise. And then, of course, incorporate more physical activity, exercise. But when you're tired, it's hard to do that. So without a sleep routine in place, that would be my first guess. If you are feeling tired, check that sleep routine first. It's probably the biggest. I think everyone on here can raise our hand saying, do we get enough sleep? I'm not sure. What does that look like? Look at your sleep routine. And then does your sleep routine affect your physical activity the following day? If you're sleeping good, are you exercising? If you're not sleeping good, are you skipping your workout that day? It's going to have a huge link. And if you are more active, you're going to have more energy and you're going to be able to sleep better. It really is this whole cycle where you need like 8 different things to actually fully function to turn that wheel over so that it is moving without hesitation. The don'ts on the flip side are going to be the complete opposites. So are you under consuming calories, fiber, protein, fluids throughout the day? This is, like I said, this is the biggest barrier that I see. The most common don't that I see is underfueling throughout the day, skimping on snacks, feeling like snacks are almost a bad thing. Where, okay, well, why am I hungry? I just ate breakfast. If breakfast only had 200 calories and it didn't have any protein in it or fiber in it or very minimal amounts, you're going to be hungry and snacks are going to fill in that gap. There's nothing wrong with a 200-calorie breakfast as long as you're hitting your nutrient needs by the end of the day and you're having that balance throughout. That's what breakfast usually looks like. But skipping snacks and thinking like you're failing by having snacks, no, snacks are your vehicle to your next meal. That's what keeps your energy levels up. So if we're skipping those and you are tired, start introducing a snack in your day. Maybe you need 2, and that's okay. Skimping on sleep routine and then over consuming caffeine, coffee, energy drinks, tea products as a Band-Aid. This is a complete Band-Aid. If you are hitting that 3 p.m. crash, Marielle, I'm going to use you as an example. If you're hitting that 3 p.m. crash and you turn to an extra cup of coffee or a Monster drink or whatever cool is in trending these days in energy drinks, instead of identifying where in this chain or link that could be missing, whether it's a sleep schedule or your energy needs or your protein, do that first, because the caffeine is just going to be a crutch. We can get dependent on it. Not that caffeine can't fit in our diet. It absolutely can. But where in the day can we make adjustments to that? So I'm going to pause there and do a poll really quickly on just a general question. Did you guys know that UFit has an in-house nutrition program with EatLove? And if you're not familiar with EatLove, you absolutely will be by the end of today. We do have some questions that I wanted to look up. It looks like Kayla's answered Rochelle. Thank you, Kayla. And then Steve, how does the concept fueling all day fit in the idea of intermittent fasting, or is that not something that you find useful? To me, intermittent fasting is breakfast, lunch, and dinner with better marketing. When you sleep, you fast. There's no reason to restrict your calories in the morning for benefits later on in the day. Personally, you're already fasting when you're sleeping, so it's not something I practice. Not something I think is necessary, because it's creating this rule that you can't eat. It's out of your eating window. Where, what is that eating window? You're still awake at 7 p.m. Your body's still burning energy. You can eat after 7 p.m. Same thing, you can eat before 10 a.m. So personally, I don't think it's very useful when we're already fasting throughout the day, an extra 1 hour, 2 hours here and there. And if we look back on it 10 years ago and we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, normal times of the day is essentially the same eating window, but we don't have the rigid rules and restriction telling us that we are going to gain weight if we eat after 7 p.m. and that sort of thing. So I personally find it convolutes the message and not really something that I find useful. Adam, what if you're trying to watch calories to lose weight? So depending on what your weight loss goals are, we talk a lot about that in other webinars that are unlisted, or I believe listed on the UFit YouTube channel, where we talk about weight loss, where we talk about macros and all that wonderful stuff. But there is just a note on that quickly, because I talk about it in a lot more detail in some of the other webinars. Micro deficits, I'm a huge fan of. Especially, that weight loss rule of 1 to 2 pounds per week is 500 to 1,000 calorie deficit a day. That's a lot. That's a lot. And that's a lot to maintain long-term, especially if you're super active and you need that energy. Micro deficits of a lot less, 250, 300 calories a day. That weight loss will be more gradual, but you're going to thank yourself in the end when you're not starving after your workout and after you've already eaten dinner. And then Angie, how can I meet with you to create a personal meal plan for weight loss? So what we do is we partner with UFit through our EatLove technology. So that's a perfect segue into our Facebook group. And then I will talk about EatLove in just a minute. So I'm going to pause here while you can all take a picture of our QR code right in here. It's going to take you back to our Facebook group, where we can continue the conversation on any nutrition topic that you have. Really nothing is off limits here. So we have 80% not aware that UFit has an in-house nutrition program. So we do, and I'm super excited to show all of you on the call today a little bit more about that. Last poll, I swear, is what do you find most difficult about mealtime? Because every single one of us, believe it or not, has to answer this question, what's for dinner, every single day for the rest of our lives. Whether we're the one creating dinner or not, or making dinner or shopping for it, we all have to answer it in some way, or somebody that we know and love has to answer that question. And we don't want the burden to fall on one person every single time. And that one person wants to get some assistance, whether the family pitches in or you rely on EatLove to kind of be that guide for you. So what EatLove is personalized nutrition for both making meals at home and dining out. When you sign up for an EatLove profile, and this is included in Premium Plus memberships at UFit. So if you are a premium member or basic member or a prospective member coming back to the UFit community and wanting to learn more, EatLove is included in that Premium Plus membership. So everything that I'm going to show you today, how to meal plan, how to do your grocery list, how to shop online, how to make sure that you're hitting your calorie needs, your protein, your fat, your fiber, your fruits and your vegetables at the end of the day. EatLove is going to be able to answer that question for you in one cohesive place. So we're science-based, truly intelligent technology, and it's going to be food that you can buy easily and cook online. Some of our recipes has 5 ingredients and less, and they are rotisserie chickens, pre-cooked rice, very simple things that does not take a whole lot of time on your end. It's a very simple process. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with the few minutes that we have left today and do a brief overview of what EatLove looks like. And if you have an EatLove account, you can access that through the YouFit app. There should be a tile there where you click on that and it opens up to your account right in the same location. All right, just want to make sure we can see that. I think you can. Perfect. So when you log in, we call it lovingly the Spotify playlist of meals because it really does look like a Spotify playlist where you can fast forward, rewind, you can favorite this, you can repeat options, you can reschedule options, you can batch cook them. So lots of really cool things here. But when you fill out your profile, when you first get started, it asks you what your nutrition goal is. Do you want a general healthy diet? Do you want to get more vegetables? Are you wanting to gain muscle? Are you training for a race? Do you want endurance-based plans? Do you have diabetes? Do you have high cholesterol? Regardless of the plan, we have over 30 options that you can choose from over here in the nutrition prescription. So I have general healthy diet right now. And as you can see, I have a completely personalized plan based on my activity, based on family members if I've added them, my portion size, what my food preferences are, and all of these numbers are going to be available for me in here. If I start a general healthy diet, but then I get a diagnosis of high cholesterol, I can change that very easily over here. I can save the changes. And you can see that my profile looks a little bit different. I have now an eye on my trans fats to make sure that I'm not going over in that. And I have maxes on saturated fat, making sure that I'm not going over in these targets either. So minimums and maximums, fiber has also been increased because I need more fiber, as we talked about, because fiber is a cholesterol lowering super agent that when we get enough fiber in our diets, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans and legumes, everything that we talked about today, we're able to lower our cholesterol. So we can't underestimate the power of just natural fruits and vegetables, especially when we're in season for the summer. So lots of really cool things that your EatLove plan will do for you just as a baseline. But the bread and butter of our service is that when we go to our meal plan, everything is auto-populated and on demand. So I like planning in this expanded view because I can see my week at a glance. I can make any changes to it if I need to. I can see I have like 3 options for breakfast. Maybe I want to swap this waffle and peanut butter out for something a little bit quicker in the morning because I don't really have time to make a waffle. Of course, you can buy frozen waffles too. But if I wanted to swap this for something else, my smart choice shows me things that still fit my nutrition goals. So I don't have to worry about not meeting my needs. I am able to pick something from this list that will honestly generate for days. There's about 7,000 dietitian approved recipes on here. And I could pick something as simple as this banana rice shake, egg, and blackberries. Some of the community that I work with loves this. Banana rice checks and egg and blackberries. It's so simple. It's so simple. Look at these ingredients. There's 4 things in here. And when I scroll down, there's my blackberries, there's my in-season produce. When I scroll down, I can see that I have a balance. I have a balance of everything that I need here. It's going to fit my nutrition goals. So it's a win-win in all cases. From there, I can add what I want to cook that week. And I can add it to the grocery list where I have my full list. So this is where you can add your family and your family can log in and add what they want. You don't have to use EatLove recipes to use the grocery list. It's all in one universal place. And every single one of us has to make a grocery list. Unless you're just memorizing things and whimming it and going out on a whim at the grocery store, everybody goes with some sort of list, whether it's Post-it notes or on your phone. But EatLove makes it super simple because you can change quantities. You can add things down to the level of cat litter. It's very specific. And then you can check off things that you already have. Spices and condiments, usually not something you have to buy on a weekly basis. But then from there, you can buy online through one of our partners and you can get grocery delivery, save yourself 2 hours a week, which I have done for the last 6 years. And I honestly don't know where I would fit grocery shopping in my week. It just won't happen. But by doing so, I have more time to spend in the kitchen. Even if I'm only doing simple recipes, I can plan, I can prep, I can do a lot of things when I have those 2 hours back. The last thing I want to leave you all with today is we talked about searching for recipes, especially seasonal summer recipes with a snack, but we can do a lot of other things as well. So I go to my search recipe option over here and go to dish types, select snack, and hit apply, you can see that we have just under 1,300 snack options that would quantify as a snack. If I wanted to go a step further, you can already see some in here that are technically in season. I have strawberries. We know strawberries are in season for the summer, but let's say I want to do cherry. 62 results for cherry. This will include cherry tomatoes. Look, cherry tomatoes and cottage cheese. Super basic, but a fabulous balanced snack that has everything you need in it when we're looking at protein, fats, and carbs, and we get our in-season hydrating kick of cherry tomatoes. We have parfaits, smoothies, ricotta crackers, and cherries. So many different options that you could do. Very kid-friendly, very adult-friendly too, because they're so basic that it's like a no-brainer. If I wanted to do something like zucchini, these are incredible. I had this recipe last week for dinner as my side vegetable. These walnuts are going to have our protein and our fat. We have a lot of other things in here, very basic options. This is a little bit more involved as a snack, but this is why I use this one as part of my dinner because it was absolutely incredible. But you could get super basic zucchini strawberry smoothie that hits 2 boxes for in-seasonal recipes. And look how hydrating this looks. You can change the almond milk for coconut milk or coconut water or something else that you want to include in that, but very well balanced dishes down here. And you can see a snack, 272 calories. It's a good bit of snack there. And we know that calories equal energy, that keep our energy levels maintained. So I'm going to come back to our chat back here. All right. So Angie, I hope that answers your question. So if you have more questions on that to create your personal plan, check out your home location with YouFit, and you can sign up directly with them. They'd be able to get you started. As a reminder, EatLove is included with all Premium Plus memberships. Sandra, what pairs well with watermelon as a snack? I see Kayla, I was going straight for feta. So I'm so glad I was going straight for feta and watermelon. Absolutely. Fantastic. Any other questions for today? You guys have been a great crowd. Starting to get pretty hot down in Texas. If anyone is living through this heat wave right now, I've been hibernating inside for a bit. But yeah, I hope today you guys have a better idea on how to create balanced snacks using whole food ingredients that are hydrating, that are in season. So without going too far again into it, it's better nutrition, richer flavor. It's going to help the community. It's going to be sustainably friendly as well. The Facebook link in here, 1 second. Facebook. Kayla, do you have that one? You could pop in there. It's not loading for me right now. Kathy, awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, Michelle. Sandra, so that's a great point there. So what I love to go over more, and we definitely can review another topic like this again, is even if you are low sodium, low fat, low whatever you want, that doesn't mean you can't have a certain food. Everything fits. Everything fits when you have a proper plan in place. So even with feta, maybe a bit higher in sodium than other things, but the biggest source of sodium in our diets actually comes from packaged foods. It doesn't even come from the salt shaker, if you think about it. And it doesn't come from whole food ingredients. It comes from packaged foods. So even if you're on a 1,500 milligram or 2,300 milligram sodium diet, doesn't mean anything can't fit in there. So I definitely encourage you to take a peek at your feta package and see, okay, I have X amount of milligrams of sodium to work with in a day. How do I make this fit? It's all about what you can include in your diet versus restricting. And even with restrictions and dietary restrictions, as a dietitian, I can 100% say there is a way to make it fit. It's the right mindset, getting out of our heads, removing that mental block that we can't have something, even if we were given specific instructions by someone that may not be as qualified to give that nutrition information. So just taking a step back and knowing that, wow, it absolutely can fit. How do I make it fit? And then you can make it fit. Thanks, Kayla, for putting that in there. Awesome. Steve, nutrition aside, are 1,500 calories the same? There would be, calories are calories, but getting that balance of macros, and we talk about macros in another webinar to get that balance out, especially when you walk through the onboarding process through EatLove. It'll show you what your macro breakdown is based on your goal. Macros are going to change based on your goal, whether it's endurance, muscle building, general healthy diet. They all have their own macro breakdown. They vary just a little bit here and there. Regardless, carbs are going to be the main source of your energy. Doesn't matter which way you slice it. And then we have fats, and then we have proteins. And then the fat and protein can be equal. They can be one above the other, but it's going to look something like that. Awesome. You guys have been a great crowd. If you have any questions about EatLove, feel free to reach out to our support line, support@EatLove. If I could type today, this happened the last webinar I did, support@eatlove.is to get that in there. Thanks for sharing, Rochelle. Happy that you were here. Come to our next one. We have these all the time, different topics, and I believe the recordings are on YouTube under the UFit channel as well. So lots of great stuff that we've gone over since, I believe, January. These have been consistent. So there's a lot of great content that you can definitely pry your teeth into, learn more about nutrition, and then feel free to email support@eatlove.is if you have any EatLove questions. We're happy to go over that. But if you are interested in signing up for EatLove, you can do so at your front desk and your home location. But I will let you guys go. Thank you all for joining, and I will talk to you soon.